Hi everyone, I'm here today with my tutorial on how to make my open record box is what I'm calling it, because this reminds me of I'm going to kind of give my age away here, but the old time little box that we used to have that kept all our 45s records in. So I'm kind of calling it my open record box. So this is the one I made and I shared uh, on the group page. And so I'm going to kind of walk you through on how to make the basic shell for it, and as I'm dropping all my cards out of it as I turn it around. So, alright, so what you need is, and I'm going to have everything listed below, all the measurements for your chipboard, but you're going to need 5 pieces of chipboard. So to start out, you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard cut 6 by 6. So I have my 2 pieces of chipboard that are cut both 6 by 6. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard, and now this is your top and your bottom. So on this one, I am actually making my top and my bottom 3.5. So 2 pieces of chipboard by 3.5 by 6, and then 1 piece that is measuring, I believe it's 2.25. Yeah, 2.25 by 6. Okay, so those are your 5 pieces that you're going to need on your chipboard. You're also going to need some strips, and I cut these an inch. I use a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and I cut them at an inch, and then I score them at a half an inch. I believe you're going to need 12, and I don't think you're going to use all 12, but I can't remember. I thought I counted them. But so go ahead and have 12 ready, cut for you. And then, of course, your score tape, your scissors, and then your bone folder, and then also your glue. Or you can use your glossy accents as well. I prefer to use my glue. So those are the items that you're going to need in order to make this. So getting started. And I do usually normally use my 3/8 score tape, but today I'm running low, and of course I had to go on last night and hurry up and order some more from our favorite store, Country Craft Creations. So I'm going to go ahead and use the 1/4 score tape. It's going to work, but I prefer myself to use the 3/8. So, alright, so you want to take one of your 6 by 6s, and you want to take one of your strips, and then, of course, you want to first measure it. So what I do is I just fold mine up, and then you're going to cut it. Now, you can pre-cut these ahead of time if you like. Sometimes that if you want to be able to just create and without stopping, I sometimes go ahead and put my score tape on all my strips ahead of time. For this demo, I did it. So you're going to need a 6 by 6, and then we're going to add our score tape. And yes, I always tend to go over a little bit. Now, you want to miter the corners, edges just a slight. Don't want to come up and cut over the fold line. Just a slight miter to them to get the raw edge off of it. Alright, so you want to burnish your score tape down, so that way we know that it's going to stick. And you're going to laugh at me, but I found this little tool from my kitchen to be the best score bone folder I have. I just love to use this. So yeah, I had quite a few. If you looks familiar, it's one of those stone scrapers from Pampered Chef, but I'll tell you, it works wonders for me. So you want to go ahead and remove one side of the tape and then line it up, and I'm going to turn this around on this side. Line it up on edge to edge, right against the fold line there. And then do the other side, and the other piece that we cut should be, since I'm using a 12 by 12 cardstock for my actual strips, I can just go ahead and use the other know that it's, you know, my chipboard's a 6 by 6, so cutting one equally in half actually works, and I'm not worried about it, the measuring it exactly. So again, miter the edges just a slight bit. And sorry, I always tend to fold mine a little bit so I know I'm not cutting my fold area. Okay. Pull that off. And you want to butt this one right up there to the edge. And if you go over a little bit, that's okay. Like you can always trim off the excess. Okay. Come over, burnish your both pieces down. And then what you're going to do is, we'll start on this side. I pull off my tape here, and then you also want to, one other thing I forgot to tell you is you want a piece of an extra piece of chipboard. I always have extras laying around. I'm sure all of us do, but I try to make it the same size as what I'm using. It doesn't always have to be, but this one just happens to be. So what I'm going to do is I take my extra piece of chipboard, which is my scrap chipboard, butt it right up to the edge, butt it up to this edge up here as well. Yeah, see, right there. And then you're going to take your 3.5 by 6, which is going to be your bottom. So, and line it right up together. So, I've used, when I've made my other one, I have used, and as you can see, that is even in there and it moves. I have used double the thickness, so if I wanted to do 2 pieces of chipboard, that would be, but I found that because this is doesn't have the sturdiness as a full complete box because it's open on the 2 sides, that the one space of one chipboard works better. Okay, so that's one side done. Turn it over and we're going to do the other side the same way. And take your chipboard, butt it up, and our next piece is going to be another your top piece. You're another of your 3.5 by 6. Sorry, I had to stop and think there for a minute, and butt that one right up. Okay. So again, now before I add on any more, what we're going to do is this is going to become long. So hopefully I stay in view so you can see, and I'll move it around. So to make this a little bit easier, your next thing is you want to cut another piece of your strip, even again. So another piece of strip, your strip there. And then I kind of fold mine a little bit again. It's kind of hard to see the fold line on the black cardstock. It might be a little bit of with my glasses, but to me it's a little bit easier if I fold them up before I add my score tape. Alright, so there's one. I'm going to go ahead and do both of them. And I apologize, but this, I'm sure everybody knows how to add score tape to cardstock. But I didn't want to have these pre-done and in case somebody wasn't quite sure. Okay, so now what I'm going to do on this one is I'm folding it over. So normally with the bottom we place the chipboard against this side. So I'm folding these over with the tape on the outer side. I'm going to miter the corners again on these. And it doesn't have to be a lot. I have a tendency to go a little bit more than some people would, but you kind of use your judgment on what you like best or what you're comfortable with. So, get these two done. Okay, so now what do is, let me try to stay here. So you've got your two spaces here, and I go ahead and I just lightly add glue inside that space, and that's going to help to give it a little bit more strength when you add on your chipboard. So I pull off the tape of one of my edges and then just work it right into there. So I want to fit it right in that groove. And this one is going to be a little bit longer, I think. I didn't cut it. I think it'll be alright. I can still... And then I fold this side down. And again, burnish it. And then I come over here and I pull the tape off that one. And then, oops. Yep. I'm going to have a little bit of a crinkle in there. But I think I can work it out. That's one of the things I like about this, is it works it right out. And as well, this is cardstock is a little bit heavier than your normal cardstock. And so, okay. Now we're going to turn it over so you can see it again, so I can stay in focus here. And again, I'm going to add my glue. Just a slight thing. Take one of my tapes off, score tape off. Fit it down into that little groove. And there's just enough space that you can move it around to make sure that you have it in there. Another thing I like about this is I can actually, it helps me. You have fingernails, which I don't anymore. I ended up breaking, like, broke 3 on one hand and 3 on the other hand cleaning. So cleaning's not good for you, obviously. And so it's very hard for me to function, because without my fingernails, I can't do much. Alright. Come over here, pull this one off, and again, burnish it down. Okay. So, what you have here is you've got your back, your top, and your bottom. Okay? So your back, your top, and your bottom. Okay, so now we're going to move on to add our front. And you can do it either side, this side, your right side or your left side. I'm just going to go, it's easier for me to work on my right side. So, again, taking another strip, measure it. I just kind of bend mine over a little bit. Try to keep a straight line when I cut it, which is another challenge for me. I'm not good with doing straight lines, cutting straight lines. So a lot of times I will pre-cut these. So especially on this, something like that has such a very same size all the way around. So, miter your corners. Pull one off. Line it up. And really, you're going to see just how simple this really is to make. It's not hard at all. And Probably the best thing for me is that how simple it was that I could just whip it right up, and I loved the way it turned out. So again, get your piece of chipboard, hold it up against, butt it right up against, and again using the same length. I know that way when I put my other chipboard down, it's gonna be aligned perfectly. So this time we're going to use our other 6x6 piece of chipboard, and like I said, just butt it up evenly to that, and that way you know it's aligned. Okay, and this is your front. So your front, your bottom, your back, and then your front, your bottom, your back, and then your top. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take my chipboard here, or my chipboard, my strip. Go ahead and add my score tape. Miter the edges. Alright. Then put my glue down in here before I add the strip. And again, doesn't have to be a lot. Just a little bead of glue there, or your glossy accent. Stick this in the inside. And then come over on this. Take this one out. And then burnish it down. So, there you have it. So far, this is what you have. You've got your front right here, your bottom, your back, and then your top right there. So eventually that's going to come up. So our next piece that we're adding is going to be your flap, which is your 2.5 or 2.25 by 6. And once again, you're going to do the same exact thing that we just did. Come over here, take that, measure, cut it, and then add your score tape. Oops. And you know what I forgot to do on this? I did not miter the edges on my score tape. So what's going to happen is, as you can see, it kind of sticks over. So I'm going to go ahead and do this side and then clean this one up a little bit. So no harm done. All right. Pull this off. Get my scrap piece. Put it in there. And then add my last chipboard piece. Oh, I got off a little bit. Try that one again. So see, if you make a mistake, it's alright. You just kind of work with it and keep going here. Alright. Yeah. Alright, let me bring this over here. Okay, it did pull up the paper a little bit there, but that's okay because I'm going to cover that with designer paper and you'll never see the difference. Okay, so that's your 5 pieces put together, and what you've created now is your shell to your open record box. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cover, you've got your shell created, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cover all the sides. So you want to get your strips and go ahead and measure them and cut them. I went ahead and kind of got started here with some of them. Don't forget to miter the corners. I have a tendency to remember at the last minute. So miter your 2 corners. And then what you want to do is line them up. Now I do all the sides, go down the side here, and then I'll come back and for a finished look, then I'll do the top part. So we're going to do, I'll do one side with you. Okay, so now on the sides are a little bit different because you want them to actually meet up and be a nice fit. So what I do, and I kind of learned this off of watching Susan video, is you want to go ahead and rub your bone folder across there to make a nice crease. Pull this off, throw the tape, and then fold it over and bring it down. Okay? So that gives you a nice clean finish on your edges. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to measure it. And again, if you're more comfortable with cutting these, measuring them on your cutter, your paper trimmer, by all means go ahead. I just kind of eyeball it and then do it. So, and then before I even add the tape on it, I want to bring it over and see if it's going to fit. Because sometimes I'm good about cutting them too long or too, and then a lot of times they're too short. So, add your score tape. Miter the edges. Which gives you a nice clean edge finish look. Set them up to, let's see if I can do this without being too awkward here. Alright. Take my bone folder, or in my case, my makeshift bone folder. I'm telling you, I'd be lost without it. I did buy one of the, at Michael's, I found it on clearance, and it was one of the Cricuts. Had something similar to this. It was black, and it had like a nice curve on one end, and the other ends were straight. I had it, I used it maybe a day or two, and I threw it in a drawer, and I guess it didn't want to stay in that drawer because I haven't been able to find it since I threw it in there. So, okay, so the next one is our 6-inch edge. So I did pre-cut these already to kind of give you an idea. I also added tape on them, so to kind of move this along, because yes, this part is it's redundant. It's just same thing or just the next area. So before I measure that, before I take my tape off, make sure that it's good. I'm not overlapping. You don't want to overlap at all in this area here where you've added this, because that's where you're going to be, it's going to fold on that one. So you don't want any of this overlapping in that area. Alright. So, a little bit difficult, but trying to do it that way because I would normally turn it towards me, but I'm trying to do it where you can actually see what I'm doing on this video. Sorry about the dog whining in the background. Her friends are outside and she's not happy that I will not stop what I'm doing and let her out. So, I mean, you know, my gosh, what's more important? Me, Mom doing a video or going out and playing with your friends? So, alright, so I'm going to take another piece that I don't have. And what's nice too is save your scraps when you cut your strips, because you never know if they'll fit the next piece or not. Now we do have on the front part of the shell, we do have where we just have the flap, and those are smaller pieces, so definitely might be able to use your scraps there. Alright, so I'm going to pull this up. A little bit too long, so I'm going to cut it off. Measure it again. Probably go just a fraction more. I don't want any overlap. Okay, let me add my score tape. Miter the edges for a clean finish. And now, if you want to alright, trying to keep this in focus, and I apologize if I get out of focus there a little bit on you. Alright, so burnish it down. And now for the smaller edge, see if I find a smaller piece here. I think this is going to be too long, but that's okay because that's what we want. We want to be able to snip it off some. So I just kind of fold it over like that. Oops. Well, I got all my scraps coming in with my scissors. Alright. Add my score tape. Add my score tape. Double check. Burnish my edges. And then okay, and remember you want to take your bone folder and I'm telling you, when I didn't realize what a difference that makes until Susan showed us when I was doing the following her along for the basket, the picnic basket, and I was like, wow, that makes a big difference. All right, so we're back to the long pieces again. I don't do the top until the very end, but I will show you how I do it. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side of this end, and do this one. Try to stay in focus. Alright. Alright. Okay. For the top, you're going to do the same thing, but I do both sides, so we give it, I get a nice, clean look, finished look on it. So, and again, I did have a few of these already pre-cut, and I went ahead and have score tape on them, so that way it would speed it along just a wee bit for you. All right, so. All right. And again, it's a little hard. Alright, without nails to pull that off, so I have to use my scissors. Alright, so here's what it looks like finished. I don't know if you can see that. Bring it, not sure. But a nice clean edge. And of course, this is all going to be finished, covered with your pattern paper. So there's no reason that you need to put any type of other paper on here, because your stripping, which binds it together, gives you your clean look with when you add your pattern paper. So it's looking pretty good, and we'll finish up the edges and all the way around, and then eventually when you're done, this is what you're going to have. You're going to have your open shell box. Now, I will tell you that I do put a clasp on mine. You can put one clasp on each side, some type of a closure, or I've done both of mine that I've done just in the middle. But I will tell you that I do put large magnets right here at the top. So when this, and here, there as well. So when it closes, it's actually going to close with that magnet piece on there. So, okay, let's go ahead and finish up covering all the edges, and then we're done. So let's move on. And I've already pre-cut these. Now I just need to miter the ends, my score tapes on them. Again, trying to save a little bit of time here. Really centered there. And again, make sure that you're burnishing down both sides. I still, at the end, like to go back and burnish mine all the way around again, just to be, make sure that I got it all and nothing's loose or everything is secure down, secure and clean. And this one again is looks good. Alright. Oops. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else caught this, but I never finished the inside of this one. That's okay. We can still do it, even though I've got the other side already done. And just add Like I said, this is going to be covered with your pattern paper, so if you make little mistakes like I just made, not going to be real noticeable. Okay. Sorry, I'm sure you couldn't see what I'm doing there. Alright, almost finished. Last two pieces. Like I said, this is really pretty quick. After I get done here, I'll share with you how I make my pages for the inside, and then let you go on your own. So, and as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me via Facebook, Messenger, on the group page. Send me a quick little post, and if I will definitely help and answer any questions you may have. Alright, last piece, and now we are fully done. Alright, so there you go. Now, I do, like I said, I do add magnets to mine. So, I do use the large magnets, and on this, the one thing I do want to say is be aware of where you put your magnets, depending on where, if you're going to have one closure or if you're going to have two closures. So I've been doing one closure only because I like the look. I like the look with the second closure, and you know, those closures can add up if you're using double and everything. So I use one, and I'm just kind of, I put it right in off, so that way it's not anywhere near the middle of where I'm going to put my closure. Let's see if I get these two apart here. Add my other one. So I'm just adding them inside, right inside just a little bit. Now, I love Tamara's trick with adding the score tape to it to make the ease of adding your a negative magnet, but also that holds down the other magnet, and just in case. And it's just like an extra protection for you. And then This is where I struggle getting those little stickers off. Okay, so there's my magnets. I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to make it even with the right there in the groove, and then press my magnets down. And then slide it apart, and then add my score tape. Now, I did learn a trick, and I'm not sure who I learned it from, but one, don't get your magnets too close to your edge, so you want to make sure your paper covers it. And two, using the 1/4 score tape to cover these. Sometimes if you use the 3/8 or larger, it doesn't tend to allow the magnets to grasp each other. So, okay, there you go. There's our shell, all done. Little, not as sturdy, like I said, it's not as sturdy because it doesn't have its other two sides, but by using just the one chipboard measure in between your two pieces of chipboard, it gives it a little bit of a sturdier look than if you use two pieces or you didn't use any. Then it would be too tight. So, alright. Like I said, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. I can't wait to see what you all make. Make sure you definitely share and tag me when you post. Now, your pages, I use 6 pages in here. Use the Hingeless hinge system that Tamara shows us. I used my hinges are 1/2 inch, but my gussets are 3/8 of an inch. So, and then that gives me a nice good space on either side of my hinge, with allowing me to use six pages in here. So now for the pages, you want 2 pieces of cardstock. Your first cardstock, because my box is 6 by 6, so my first piece of cardstock is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, so it's a perfect square. My second piece is going to be 6 3/4 by 5 3/4. So what I'm going to do is, on the larger piece that is 6 3/4, it's going to allow you to give you the 1/2 inch gusset to attach both pages together. So you want to score a 1/2 inch in from that edge, and I'm just going to make it easy and turn it around and score another 1/2 inch there. So I'm not sure if I was in view of that or not, so I'll go back over it again. A 1/2 inch score right there, and then you want to score at 6 1/4 on this end to make it a 1/2 inch gusset on that side. Alright, so get your score tape, add your score tape to both these edges on the outside of the 1/2 inch score mark. Now, you can make these, actually is designed to make a pocket page, and if you're not wanting to do the pocket page, have the pocket for the tag, you can always close the top up, and there's different ways you can close it up. So I do miter one each side on the one end of it. So this will be my top end of my pocket page. So, and then all you want to do is pull a little bit of your tape up, and I'm going to move this over this way so I can see what I'm doing. And again, I appreciate your patience. This actually is one of my first actual tutorial on video. I've done tutorials before, but I've just never had the confidence to do a video. So I'm like, okay, let's get with the times and get over your fear of a video and get it done. It's a lot easier to explain when you're showing a tutorial than it is to write it all out. So, again, so that's one side, and then I'm going to come over on the other side. And again, I make 6 of these pages for my little album. You can do less. You can do 5. Just make sure you adjust your hinges. And also, you might want to adjust the size of your bottom and your top. My first one, I did a 4-inch top and a 4-inch bottom, and it left quite a bit of room. And I didn't want that on this one because I'm actually going to be using the June Craftology box kit that I received from Tamara at Country Craft Creations. So I will be using 5 or 6 pages on mine. So there you go. Again, this side is going to be what we're attaching to the hinge because I didn't miter the corners on that one. And then, whoops. I'm sorry, I hit my camera. And this side, I've mitered the corners, so this side will be our pocket. And there you go. There's, again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to get a hold of me. Good luck, and again, thank you for watching.